When she told me that I was safe, that was like, I mean, I'm a 6 on the Enneagram. So for someone to, that's like the best compliment I think someone could give me, was to say that I'd make them feel safe or help them feel safe.
You do have that energy.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really sweet of her to say that.
Our guest,
Yes.
Libbie Higgins.
Yes.
No,
Libbie,
I think that's a great way to start.
Yeah. She was just, I had no idea what to expect. And it was a pleasant surprise that she went to places I wasn't sure she would. And she was just, you could just tell her mind was thinking around and taking things that were said, and she didn't automatically shove it to the side. And you could just see things connecting for her, and that's really lovely to see.
Right? Mm-hmm. That's why in the podcast I told her that I think she takes good care of herself, because it takes a lot. Like she said, I knew coming over here I was going to want therapy and I was going to talk about things, but she showed up and she showed up emotionally, she showed up physically. I just appreciate someone who sees, and she talks a lot about fear. She mentions that's scary about a lot, but she really does. She showed up and I'm so grateful.
She pushes into her fear.
She does.
Yeah, it was nice.
She has she's very silly and funny and awesome. At the same time, being around her energy, and I tell her this, is just I want to learn from her. I know she's got so much wisdom. I'm like, oh, I want more of that. One of those guests that I'd love to have back and talk again.
You know, what'd be neat is to do a whole nother round of shows with all the comedians that have gone to therapy after being on here.
That would be.
What have you learned?
Yeah,
I think that'd be cool.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. Yeah, I think. Oh, I just wanted to mention, because I'm thinking about when the listener is listening to this. Speaking of cool things that we're doing, the live show.
Oh yeah,
is coming up.
Yes,
soon, January 5th.
Yes, excited about that.
Me too.
It's gonna be fun to have all the energy, and it'll be fun.
I have such a good feeling about it. It's gonna be intimate. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna get into some feels. January 5th, 7 p.m. at Trauma Therapy Nashville
on Music Row.
Tickets are in the I'm Fine It's Fine Instagram bio. You can also find them at deweycomedy.com/tickets. January 5th. Come through. It's going to be so nice.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Me too. And enjoy this wonderful episode with Libbie Higgins.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys have producers and everything. You are really fancy.
Oh, thank you.
You guys are really doing it.
We try.
You guys are really doing it.
You are doing that thing.
I'm going to have
That's the second time
with
this
y'all. I can tell. I'm like the designated...
Do I have to be appropriate?
No.
God.
Oh,
be
no.
yourself.
No.
It's just the second time me and a guest have faked orgasm noises for a while.
What an interesting combo, though. A therapist and a comedian.
Yeah.
It's fun.
That's pretty cool.
I asked her to do it, and she was like, yeah, I'll be a guest. And I was like, oh, no.
You don't understand.
I want you to sign in blood.
I did not realize what I was getting into. But I'm so glad I did.
Wow.
Yeah, the tension's hot.
That was tension?
No. Comedians just like to create it.
I'll work on it.
I know we've already said this, but you really look so pretty.
If you don't stop saying that.
I love your hair.
The hair,
Thank
the
you.
highlighter.
Yeah.
That's naturale.
It's pretty.
Thank you.
It's so beautiful.
Let me just encourage you, ladies, to go gray when it happens.
Oh, I am. I haven't colored my hair since I was in college. I've got lots of silver shinies. I call them my tinsels. Yeah.
Have we already started?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shh.
You all right?
No, don't.
I didn't even
don't
have
go
time
back.
to get nervous.
Did you have a thing when you turned gray that you were like, I don't want to show it?
Never.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, that's not true. When it started first going gray and I was dying, it looked awkward, the half and half. So then I would keep covering it up, but then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to embrace it. And I got it cut real short.
It's beautiful.
Thank you so much.
One of the reasons I love you so much, and like, okay, the crew that you tour with, you hang with, all of you guys are like the cool girl squad to me, because you're so like, I feel like you don't hold anything back.
Look at Sorry, I'm just watching you set that cup down.
I didn't want it to make a loud noise. Also, when people say complimentary things, I tend to like dissociate. So I was like leaving my body. That is one of the things I like about the crew is it's safe for us to all just do whatever we want. And I love that because it hasn't always been like that in my life. And just kidding, I wasn't really gonna cry. That was fake. Probably will cry though.
That's okay.
Because if you want to
I
talk
love to
about
cry.
trauma, you asked the right person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start with, what do you mean by it hasn't always been like that in your life?
Well, I for many years worried what other people thought and didn't live the way I wanted to live. And now I live how I want to live. And I think that's just getting older. Like when you get older, I'm almost 50. And when I hit 40, that's when I was like balls to the wall. Like, I'm going to do what I want.
What was that shift? What happened?
I left my husband. That's when I started doing comedy. And I was like, you know what? I don't need no man. And kind of did what I wanted.
Yeah.
Wow. What a fool. Like, was he kind of like, oh, comedy is not it?
He was more along the lines of, I guess I was kind of codependent. I was scared to do anything without him. I was scared anyway. I mean, I still have stage fright, but I thought like, oh, I can't do it without him. So I would always think about a way to incorporate him in stuff that I was doing.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't think I was funny enough by myself. I love the nurturing.
I know, right?
Sorry.
I really do.
It
love
just
it.
happens without me realizing it.
It made me feel so happy.
Oh, good.
Oh, that
It sounds like if you're in a codependent relationship, that being a very difficult decision to make. What allowed you to do that?
Oh, it took me years.
Yeah.
He initially he ended up cheating on me, and it took me like 2 full years to leave.
Yeah.
It took a long time. It takes me a long time to deal with stuff. But literally when I decided, it was like a light switch. And people say that, and I had that moment where I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm done," and I was done.
Good.
Done with
I'm
his
glad
ass.
you had that.
Yeah. That's what made you go to comedy right after that, or you had been thinking, oh, you were in it with him.
Well, I was doing like online stuff. I had little like shows online that I would do live stuff in character. But again, I was like, I can't do this in real life. I'm too scared. And then when I left him, I was like, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And I started doing stand-up. Then I took improv classes, which really turned like improv classes. Have you done improv?
I have.
Oh, God, it changed my life.
No.
It changed my life.
Why?
It just, it gave me tools to just be okay with whatever happens.
I like
Facts. Yeah.
So it gave me like it's okay to be scared, but you're still going to do it. Whereas before it was just like I was scared and wouldn't do stuff.
Unless he was involved in some way.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was reading on, I can't remember something on the internet. I don't know. But it said you used to be a teacher.
Yes.
Yeah. How,
It's wild. I taught special education. I was a teacher assistant for 22 years before I quit to be full-time comedian.
How was that easy or hard to do?
It was scary.
Yeah.
Really, really scary. But I'm so glad I did it.
How long have you been doing comedy?
I've been doing comedy almost 10 years now, but full time, nearly 3 years.
Oh, cool.
That's yes, girl. Hey,
She's taking a picture. I wanted to pose. She wanted candid, but I was like, no, let's pose.
You said you still get stage fright?
Every single time.
That's so wild to me because y'all, like, what I see of on your Instagram and the crew you hang out with, fear is not what comes up when I see y'all's.
Well, I'm glad 'cause
content.
it's there, and it's yeah. Every time before I go on stage, I'm like, why do I do this? Why do I do this?
What are you scared of?
My biggest fear is going up there and blanking because I had a traumatic experience in high school where I had been in theater, but only doing backstage stuff because I was scared. And then I finally got the nerve to audition, and I went up there and I wasn't prepared. And I literally was like, didn't have any words. And that's what I'm scared of.
You weren't prepared. How?
I didn't prepare my, what's it called? Monologue. Enough. And I went up there and was scared and then just literally didn't have any words.
So even if you feel prepared now, do you still get scared?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm afraid it's going to happen. I'm like, today's going to be the time.
But, okay, I'm going to be a therapist for a minute. Where my brain's going is you're conceptualizing that as you're afraid of like the freeze on stage, but you just said what it was that I wasn't prepared.
Yes.
And so what you're afraid of is not being prepared.
Damn.
I know.
Yes.
So if you know that you're like, try to focus and bring that in, like next time. I've prepared, like point out, I'm prepared. I did this to prepare, because that's what you're afraid of.
There's another aspect of it too.
Okay, bring it.
I have OCD, and sometimes in my brain, if I'm not scared, OCD is like, well, you've been scared all these other times and you did great. So if you're not scared now, this is going to be the time.
Gotcha.
And sometimes with my OCD, I just let it do its thing, because sometimes I don't even want to argue with it. I'm talking about it like it's a different thing, but it sometimes feels like it's not part of me. Sometimes I just let it do its thing, because I'm like, just let me do this ritual and not deal with it.
Let's talk afterwards. I could talk all day about some OCD stuff.
I have OCD too.
Do you?
Yeah, and I relate so hard to that. It's more of a struggle sometimes to like battle it than just be like,
well, battling doesn't work.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
It's actual a thing in your nervous system. It's a nervous system problem. It's a neurological issue. It's not what you try to argue and think your way out of every time. That just makes it worse.
So is it kind of like the retraining of like, I've prepared, like just talking to it and
the way I would approach it, of course, I'm using brain spotting, but the whole idea of thoughts that fire together, wire together. So when a thought fires, and it's the fear that the OCD might be rooted in, and then you launch into a behavior or a thought that's trying to go against that and like fix it for you, you're strengthening and wiring those things to happen together.
Yep.
So,
because my biggest thing is intrusive thoughts. So for years I didn't even know what it was, and then I finally like happened to tell my doctor, like, oh, when I walk by a knife, I think, what happens if I stab myself? And he told me what it was, and it changed everything. It didn't stop the thoughts, but it made me be like, okay, I can't.
You could name it as like an irrational thought.
Right. Yeah. I can't not walk by a knife, because that's actually making it worse. But sometimes I just give in. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to not drive down that street, because I'm afraid I'm going to crash into someone and kill a whole family.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have those kind of thoughts a lot?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And it's apparently it's a thing, like it goes against everything you are. Like it's the total opposite of you. Like I'd never crash into a family on purpose, but my brain's like, what if? What if you lose control of the car and kill this family?
And that makes it to where you don't drive down a certain
I
street.
won't want to drive down that street because I had that thought on that street.
Oh man, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And that, I guess, is the ritual part. It's all very
The
confusing.
not driving down. Yeah, there's obsessions and then compulsions, and so the compulsions are the things you do to try to remedy the obsessive thought.
Damn. I don't know if this is the same thing, but that makes me think of like, I'm very into like spirituality and signs. And so I constantly ask the voice in my head, is this the right thing or is this the right thing? And then I just get lost in this loop of like, you know what I'm saying? Of where I'm like, do I go here or do I go there? And then it'll answer me, but different times for like an hour, different answers for an hour.
It's the loop, man. Just the
loop.
nonstop. Oh.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I feel for you.
I feel for you. How have you found some relief in that?
You know, generally it's fine. Sometimes it'll hit me though when I first wake up or something and I can't stop it, and then I'll go into like full-blown panic and I'll be out of commission for several days because I start to like what's it called, depersonalization, where you're just like outside of your body. Then that freaks me out more. And basically, like you're saying, I'm having these thoughts, and then it's my body thinks I'm running from a bear when I'm not really running from a bear, and it's just a nightmare.
Yeah.
Most times I'm fine though, but about once a year I'll have a thing that knocks me out for about a week.
That's got to be hard on the road. Like traveling all the time. Right?
It hasn't happened on the road.
Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. And it won't. Come back to me. Come back to me. Libby?
As soon as you said that, I was watching your face, and you're like, I just saw the click start happening.
It's generally when I get home from the road or I'm having a more peaceful time, and I think it's because my brain's like, you think you're gonna relax, lady? Guess what?
We got some work to do.
Guess what, brother? We're putting you out for about a week.
I don't want that for you, but it's nice to know that other people feel that way.
Okay, y'all, we're gonna do some brain spotting at another time, but I can help y'all with
Is
that.
that thing where you're like, look at this and go?
The back and forth thing is EMDR. Brain
Okay.
spotting's more of a fixed spot.
It doesn't that me like brain spotting, like why are you bringing that up? Do you think it's something that a past experience that has made us have this kind of?
It can. I mean, it can be, but I don't necessarily have to know that to try to help it.
Oh, she's cool.
I know, isn't she?
Well, the way you use brain spotting to work with OCD is you have like different spots that you use for different things, but there's like the fear or the emotion and the fear part that comes up, the obsessive thought, and then you have like how activating that is. But instead of wiring those together like they normally do in your everyday, then we go to it's called a pleasure spot. I tend to call it something else in a session, but it's thinking of something that feels really good or pleasurable, or a memory that feels really happy. It could be like, I love to eat ice cream and what it feels like to have ice cream, or a happy memory of me having ice cream or something like that. And so you notice that, and you have a spot that's for that as well. And so you are processing on these other two, and you kind of go through this. It's a setup, but then you wire it with that pleasure spot.
Wow.
And so normally
cool.
your brain's so
cool.
used to doing this,
Yeah.
right, back and forth. And one of the spots that you process is the very first one is the belief that this is a neurological problem and not something wrong with you. That you have to believe like this is something in a neurological firing that's happening, and that's what the issue is, not you as the person. And so you brain spot to kind of build that until that feels true, and then it's the activated part of how the thought, a lot of times it's a fear-based emotion, and you process with that to desensitize it down, and then you pair it with the pleasure point, and it is rewiring and connecting those together. So yeah.
I want that.
A lot of people have had like therapists tell them like you can't get better, it's just learning how to deal with it. But I mean, I've seen a lot of people like get through and work some of that stuff through with brain spotting. So I have a therapist.
Whoa.
I have a therapist that specializes in OCD that does brain spotting and stuff. So
Is it anything like the movie Train Spotting?
no.
With Brad Pitt?
Was he in that?
Oh,
Wait, wasn't that Denzel Washington?
Wasn't that the movie that was in England and there was like a lot of drug abuse and
it doesn't have Brad Pitt? Kaylee's typing Denzel, drugs, Brad Pitt.
No, it was definitely the drug movie, though. I can tell you that.
and I think that's why I couldn't watch it because there was a lot of IV drug use.
Yes, intravenous.
Needle phobic. Add that to my list of issues. Love having issues.
I have a question about like what you do because I've never seen your stand up. I tried looking, but I couldn't find it.
That's good. Haven't put out a special yet.
But like your content and it's very like open and I don't know the word for it. Like, I guess open is the only word that's coming to mind right now. But like, do you ever have people come up to you and say things that are like, ugh, because they think
Like what?
because they think that they like you inspire them to be open and you're like, ooh, that's
Yes, definitely have that experience more with my online stuff than in my stand up. Unfortunately, my stand up, and I know this was one of the things that we were going to talk about. I haven't figured out how to bring all my mental health stuff into my stand up.
oh.
I have terrible difficulty writing and talking, apparently. I would love to include more of like my mental health stuff because I think it is really relatable. But I just don't know how to do it without making it depressing or scary. Because if you don't know what intrusive thoughts are and I start talking about it and then people are like, what's wrong with her?
Mm-hmm.
Every time I'm on an airplane, I can't look at them close the door because I have an intrusive thought that I will open the door. Don't want to open the door.
Mm-hmm.
Never have. Never even sat up like this. But my brain is like, what happens if you open that door?
Interesting. But you know that you're not going to.
No, I would never. But I can't look just in case. Like
Because that prevents that from happening, the bad thing from happening by not
got you.
looking.
So as soon as they start doing the door, I'm like,
Do you feel that in your body? Because right now I'm like, I feel it in my stomach. I'm like, oh,
it's so scary because I don't just have that thought. I then think, oh, there's me going over to the door, opening it, and the sky marshal trying to get me, and I'm going, no, let me get this door. Which really, you saw how slow I move, so there's really realistically no way I'd ever be able to do it.
They'd tackle you before you got there.
damn. Have you tried to talk about it ever in stand-up?
No,
Really? Mm-mm. Have you written a joke and been like, maybe I could say this?
no, haven't even written them. My stuff is very surface level, and just silly stuff.
So do you feel like you go deeper into your stuff? You're just yourself, not necessarily in your comedy, but like, I don't know. We've just talked to different like comedians that'll talk about how they've like used their material in there because they've not necessarily in therapy, but they've kind of worked and sat with kind of understanding kind of some of their internal world and then brought that out. And so do you feel like those are tied for you of like, has it been hard for you to sit with your own stuff to where it makes it hard
I
to
think
where your comedy
so.
stays surface? Does that make sense?
I think it is very hard because I do, even though I don't want to, have a lot of shame about it. So if I was to write about it and then that material didn't go so well, then I'm like, it would reinforce that shame, I think.
Yeah.
So it's probably just easier. Thank you for the insight, actually. It's probably easier for me to not do it because then I'm like, don't have to think about it. But I would love to be able to talk about it because I know that there's so many people that have either the same thoughts or know somebody that wants to open a plane door for no reason at all when
Yeah.
it's 10,000 feet in the air. And I would actually be sucked out, I think, is what would happen. Hello, welcome to the no-fly list.
And I feel like that's probably hard too when you're, or maybe it's not, but when you're like, do you go to mics? Like, do you have a space where you feel like you can like try stuff?
I don't. I have probably done 3 mics since I was here, and also stage fright is even worse at mics
Really?
because there's like 10 comics there,
Ugh, yeah.
and you're just like,
Is it harder to do it in front of comics?
Yes.
it's harder in front of your
Really?
peers, even though they know like, oh, she's testing stuff out. We're all doing that. For some reason in my brain, I'm like, nope,
I
too
know.
scary.
I feel you. Well, comics, like, I feel like it's half and half. They're either not paying attention or they're being like, that was funny. Or like, that wasn't funny. It's, it's not really an audience that's looking to laugh.
Really?
They're just
A
worried about
bunch
They're
of
their
getting
own.
their
comedians
reps.
Yeah.
Aren't laughing. The audience.
They're nervous about going up or they're looking at their jokes. So they're not paying attention. It's just like, it's not fun at all, really.
I need to start going to mics again.
I'll come to Mike shows and
No, I would never put that on you.
We would roast your ass.
I could laugh at it.
Yeah. I feel like trying the jokes on your shows on tour would be easier because people are ready to laugh.
Yes.
It's a good environment.
And they're already like, they already love me. So,
Mhm.
but then that really isn't a good gauge either. So it's like, they're going to laugh
Yeah.
at any. Sometimes I'm like, what are they laughing at?
I just said hi.
Literally. I'm like, that what?
I've heard some comments that when they do a joke and it maybe didn't land, they'll just say, well, that's one not to not do again. And everybody laughs.
And then they'll laugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always that recovery.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have such a limited time though. I only have 15 minutes on stage and I feel like I have to put out a good product.
Yeah.
I'm not
That's
as
that part of you saying, don't do that. I'm scared to do that.
I'm gonna throw this plan off the table.
You're looking for ways to not do it.
Yes, you're right. You're right. I'm making excuses.
Just do it. When you're ready.
Wow, didn't expect to get red.
Have you ever covered any harder stuff that wasn't about the mental, like the intrusive thoughts
Just in general
in your comedy? Yeah.
about me or just
But
In general.
In
yeah.
general. I have a bit that I do that starts off talking about the transgender bathroom bill. It's not even about that. It turns out being about kids. But when I start that, sometimes I can just see people like get real like
Which
They
way is she
freeze
going to
up.
go?
yeah, they don't know which way I'm going to go. And then in some places you get the people that are like, and it's like, that's about the most hard hitting thing I do. The rest of it is just like pussy jokes and jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just nonsense and silliness. I would love to go deeper. I would love to go deeper.
Mhm.
I feel like I should have already been doing that at this point in my career. But yeah, a lot of fear and holding my own self back.
I feel like just we haven't known each other long, haven't talked a lot, but your energy gives me an energy of I want to learn from you. You know?
Stop.
Yeah, truly. You just seem like you have so much knowledge and you're like you don't push it on people, but I feel like I just want to like hear from you.
Well, I ain't got shit to say. I'll tell
That's
you that
not
right
true. That's not true.
Everybody has something to say.
Mm-hmm.
now.
I mean, you're in your 50s and you are a full-time comic. What, you didn't want me to say that?
I'm 50. I'm not. I'm 49. I'm 49. You're
know, I'm
in
not
your
in the
70s and you're looking great. Looking real good for 70.
You're on the outside of 50.
It's weird though for you to say that because I don't see myself as that,
Yeah.
and I don't truly even identify as my age. I was always the young person, and now I'm the older person in the group, which is kind of weird to get used to because people will call me like mom. And I don't feel like that. I feel like I'm in my 20s and just, I don't know what's going on.
Why are you calling me that?
I feel like I just don't know what's going on.
That's it. When they call you mom, you're just like, where'd you get that?
It's cute, but then I have to stop and think, oh, they kind of see me as a mother type figure.
Weird. Wow.
Which is cute, but I don't have any kids.
But
I guess
you
I kind of
can have-
am motherly.
Yeah, you can have mom. I don't have kids, and that definitely can have mom energy around certain people.
I'm more like aunt energy. Somebody said that he's like, you got big aunt energy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's the funniest thing I've ever.
I see that.
Drew Morgan, you know
Oh,
Drew Morgan? Yeah, he
yeah.
said that. He's like, you got big aunt energy. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah. Someone who's wise and you can tell whatever to, and you'd be like, your secret's safe.
And I might not tell your mom, depending on the laws, because I was a mandated reporter for so many years, and I'm big on rules. So
What's
if you're,
that?
it's like when you work in a field where something illegal is happening, you have to obligated by law to tell.
If
Gotcha.
there's like an abuse or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
And I know in Tennessee, everyone is a mandated reporter of child abuse. So if you
Everyone
see
in
it,
the whole state,
Mhm.
it's a burden to put on everyone's shoulder. Because I take that stuff seriously. I take rules seriously.
Really?
even suspected, it doesn't like you don't have to know for sure that that's what's happening, but anything suspected, then
okay.
you're supposed to report it
Yeah.
for child abuse.
Try living your life normal now, knowing that you're mandated reporters.
Fuck.
It's a big responsibility to carry around.
Why do you take rules so seriously? I wouldn't think that
I
about
think
you.
it's an OCD bit. Like I have to. I don't want to get in trouble.
What's your Enneagram number?
I don't know.
Okay.
A lot of my intrusive thoughts are like law based. Like, once I accidentally hit that family, then I'm gonna go to jail and I'll have to be on trial, and then I'll be on death row. Like, I just want to follow rules and be okay.
Yeah.
And I will snitch on you if you're doing something bad. Snitching on all of you. Every last one of you. If you're gonna murder somebody, don't tell me, because I will tell on you.
Have you ever, were you in trouble a lot when you were younger?
No. And in fact, here's the weird component. I would confess to stuff I didn't do. So in the class, they're like, who did this to the beanbag? And if nobody answered, I would say I did it, because I couldn't stand the pressure.
Wow.
You guys are just now discovering how insane I am.
No, you're not. I'm just like, that is
What-
interesting.
Well, try to be in that little you in the classroom and where no one's confessed. Like, what was the fear thing happening there?
It was like, maybe I did do it and I didn't know.
So you're questioning yourself.
Yes.
So does that go?
But also I know I didn't do it, but also, do I really know for sure?
Did you have parents that questioned you, or like? And there's so many ways that can happen, but kind of just like either super controlling and never let you kind of think for yourself, or just kind of if you had something like, no, you didn't stop, questioned.
No, that my parents were all right. I do have a history of being sexually abused, but this was before that, so I don't know how much that played into everything. Yeah, it was just a feeling of like, well, I got to say something, because the teacher's upset, and I don't want her to be sad, and I don't want somebody else to get in
Okay.
trouble.
So placating is a trauma response.
Cool.
I guess I'm asking.
I
Does that
think so.
resonate?
I think, yeah.
Because if it was just a lot of, I have to take care of making sure, I don't know, you're taking care of somebody else's feelings.
Yeah, I love doing that, apparently.
Well, you probably learned it as a survival skill as a child.
That's sad.
Does that resonate?
It does. And I don't know why, though.
Oh, interesting.
When you had emotions How'd your parents respond?
Typically it was a lot of like, oh, there she is crying again. Crybaby.
Mm-hmm.
I was a crybaby. And I cried all the time. And I still do. I cry a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Music makes me cry. I cry when I'm happy. But it was a lot of like, there she goes. She's crying again.
Mm. Yeah, that's
Is that me making that noise?
I think it's just the headphones and yeah.
I can't remain any stiller.
Try.
Oh, I think it was Darcy. He crawled under your chair and over
Aw.
here. So probably, I don't know. Sorry,
Yeah, I was always made to feel like I was being too emotional.
like too much. Yeah. And if you did either parent or anybody, did they have bigger emotions than you, of like how your emotions affected them in a negative way?
I mean, I just remember crying a lot and it always causing a lot of problems.
Okay,
So
yeah.
when my parents would go somewhere and leave us, I feel like I felt like they were never coming back, and I would just cry and cry the whole time they were gone.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom said like she could barely get me off breastfeeding because I just would cry all the time. It's like, why would you say that to me? Don't tell me that,
Don't
Mom.
share it with me.
And then she said I never wanted to be away from her.
Mm-hmm.
Don't understand it. It's the saddest thing ever when I think about little tiny me being sad.
Mm-hmm. And that's some of the work to be done. Do you ever let yourself feel sad for her
Mm.
and take care of her and say it's okay to feel this way? You're not too much.
I do, but also it's so any therapy that I've done has been really good, but I go through pockets where I don't do it for a long time because I don't feel like my brain's like, oh, you're too busy to dive into that stuff right now
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like it would affect everything.
How so?
I feel like it would just make me go off my normal schedule.
And that feels scary.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I got stuff to do. I can't be out of commission, is the way I like to say it.
Except for the one time a year you go down
The
for a
one
week.
time a year. Even that's unacceptable. But like I know
think-
that's going to happen.
But I think that one thing a year you're talking about happens because you don't do it any other time.
Shit.
I'd be curious because it's just your body has to deal with what your mind wants. And it can just build up so much it has to check out and take a break.
Okay, I'll go to therapy. God. Jeez.
Yeah. I feel, that's,
I knew that this was going to happen when I came here. I was like, I knew that I was going to realize that I needed to be finding a therapist again.
And you still came.
oh,
I think a part of you wants to.
yeah.
Oh yeah. And I always love to just spend the hour trying to make the therapist laugh. And I finally found one lady who was like, you have to stop.
Mm-hmm.
This is your time to work. I'm not an audience member.
How'd that make you? I got to chill just
And I was
then.
like, damn, dude.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've already noticed, like, anytime I've kind of put something to you, you make a funny joke or you
I
do a
have
funny
to.
voice.
I have to. I have to like be safe.
That's that's where you're operating from right now. It's about learning other ways to be safe other than that. It's possible.
I'm looking into the camera to show the audience that I'm leaving my body.
Why are you leaving your
Yeah.
body?
It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. It's hard to be so, and I feel like I can be vulnerable, but it's like I have to be vulnerable about things I want to be vulnerable about. When it's somebody else, it feels out of control. Like, not saying you're making me feel out of control, but it's if I'm not picking what I am being vulnerable about, it's almost like, and I think this is a good comparison, when I was being sexually abused, I didn't have a choice that was happening to me.
Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to maintain control of myself and my body.
Yeah. I mean, in OCD works like that a lot, right? It's to try to get control over something and manage. And so it's a coping skill. But if you work to process the thing you're trying to cope with, I think some of those symptoms can go away.
What about you? How are you?
I'm great.
Damn.
That doesn't work on here.
Wait, hold on. I'm not done asking you a question.
Nope. Look at her deflecting.
I'm also leaving my body. I'm going with Libbie.
We're like,
That therapist that was like, said, we're not doing jokes in here. What happened to her?
she was a graduate student and she ended up leaving the state, which also the last month of our appointments was me talking about how she was leaving me because she knew that I was going to have a hard time with it.
How much did that feel about your fear of when your mom would leave and not coming back?
The same.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like when people leave.
Yeah. Do you know about attachment stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what that
Anxious attachment, obviously.
Samesies.
Sames.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily want it to be like that, but at least now I know what it is. So if I start thinking like, oh, this person is going to leave me forever, then I can be like, okay, first of all, chill out. And if they do leave you forever, you'll be fine. And you're overreacting.
You take really good care of yourself. I think you do.
You do? You think that?
Yeah. Well, I'm just like, well, let me ask, what, like when you were like, oh, coming here, I knew it was because I wanted to start therapy again. What made you think that? What made you think about, I need to get back into therapy?
Because I knew there were going to be topics talked about that would sort of stir me. Topics that I can think about, choose to think about or not choose to think about. And you can't avoid that with this because I was like, I'm going to be real when I go in there. I didn't want to try to be too dissociated from myself. But yeah, every once in a while I'll be like, I know I need to get in therapy, too busy. And that'll be the end of it.
I'm glad you've shown up in an intentional way. So thank you for that.
Stop. She makes me feel so safe.
Oh, I love that.
Me too.
Aww.
And I know it sounded like I was being sarcastic. I wasn't. I'll say it in a regular. Thank you for making me feel safe.
You're very welcome.
I love that. I feel the same. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Ladies. I'm trying to stop saying guys when I'm talking to the ladies.
It's hard.
I was raised in Alabama.
It's okay.
Hey, you guys. But, sorry.
Do you feel like the people that you travel with are like a blessing? Do you guys talk about like hard stuff?
We do. And as far as like attachment issues with them, I don't have those issues with them. I feel totally safe and open, and I'm not going to say never scared, but I rarely feel like, oh, they're going to leave me or,
Yeah.
which is always my biggest fear. I feel so safe with them.
Oh,
That's important to have people like that. It'll help you heal.
yeah.
I want to go back, if we can, to when you were, I don't remember exactly what you said, but you were kind of saying, like, if I can stop and think through, like, you were kind of like logically think through the thought that might be coming up. Like, those are great and helpful that you can do that. But there's so much energy that gets put into talking yourself through the thoughts all the time, right? And that's doing trauma therapy is going to go deeper into you said it was helpful that I know why this stuff happens or that it's happening. And that's a step. That's a big step of getting that information and understanding yourself more. But then we want to go into the rooted thing of like what's causing that? What put that there in the first place that allowed it to then start happening? So awareness, and then what do we do with the awareness? And that's where doing some of the deeper work, it's like we learn that we're safe, that safety doesn't come from a person, because then it's always fleeting. Even with safe friends and people, there's still that what if,
Right.
and people die. and go away. Then what happens, right? And we have to, I'm pushing into your fears right now. But so I just say that to say there is no guarantee of like the safety if we're getting it from other people.
Mm-hmm.
And doing the deeper work lets you come home to yourself, and that's where all that comes from. We can reparent that little girl that didn't get that need met, that learned people leave, or I have to, like, other people are in charge of me and how I feel and think and do things, or if I'm loved or not, or how I feel about myself. It's always these external things, and we have everything in here to heal. We got disconnected from it. Okay.
I'm trying to be in the moment. I'm trying not to leave. You're right.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
My hand is so dry, though.
So are mine. So dry. You good?
I'm good.
All right. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable.
I'm not uncomfortable
I
at
want
all.
you to stay
it's
here.
It's also just like pushing me. Like, I know what I need to do. But then there's now I got to find somebody. It's like, man, I'd rather play Animal Crossing for 3 hours than have to deal with trying to find a therapist.
I know it's a lot, but lucky you, she has an awesome practice. I'm not just saying that because she's my co-host. It's really, I go there. A lot of comics go there. It's like the hangout spot now.
Really?
It's like an open mic.
Yeah, we kind of have. Yeah, it's kind of like the next step after the podcast.
Yeah, everybody.
Is she your therapist?
She's not my
No,
therapist.
no,
No,
I couldn't do that.
No,
I'm not
that'd be
any comics there. I'm not any comics therapist.
She's like, absolutely not. I've seen enough.
That's too much for me.
No.
But
fun.
she owns a practice. So she has
I have
therapists.
therapists that work.
Damn, you're doing that thing. Mm-hmm. I love when women do big stuff. It's so great.
Isn't it the best?
Not that we can't, but it's like, dudes want to be like, yeah, I'll run a practice because I'm a man.
I know.
Well, people are even surprised that you're successful.
Mm.
Why
I don't
is
know if
that?
y'all experienced that at all.
You did that all by yourself?
Oh, well, I had the Terminex, or not Terminex, but the people that exterminator come and spray, and they knocked on the door, and I talked to him, and he said something. This was this week, and he was like, "Well, your landlord will blah blah blah," and I was like, "I own my house," and he was like, "You do?" And I was like, "Yeah."
You mean women can own homes?
Yeah.
In this day and age?
Next
But
thing you
it's
know,
just
they'll be voting, dude.
The automatic assumption was one thing, and, I mean, I know that's just a society thing that we're trying to break out of, but that I have those kinds of things happen all the time.
He probably doesn't even realize that that's like a weird
Right.
thing to ask.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
Wild.
You
But-
do.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah.
What you mean, you were married and your husband left it to you or something? Your ex-husband? That's wild.
But yeah,
Would that be called a microaggression? You hear these terms, ladies. Am I right?
I think that's used in terms of like racial
Okay.
microaggressions.
Well, I am way off base. Let's just cut that part out. Way off base.
But it could be just against like just women, toxic masculinity. That's another term you've probably heard.
Yeah.
I don't know that was an example of that, but just the assumption in society, just how we are born and raised,
Yeah.
hopefully we change a little bit over time, but yeah, still there.
Do you, this just makes me like think of men, which I love doing. You ever just ponder on men?
All the time. It's my fave.
How do you deal with, do you get mean comments on your Instagram?
Yes.
How do you deal with it?
Amber's like, help me.
Help.
At first, it was very difficult for years, and now I either just ignore it or say something snarky back, because it's usually 9 times out of 10 it's like, oh, you're fat. It's like, really?
Where?
It's wild, and I come from a place now where I'm like, something's wrong with them.
Yeah.
Truly, that they're that insane that they're going to make multiple comments about my weight. It's like, that's what you got from this post, dude?
Yeah, I feel sorry for people that do that. That's their energy. Like, I'm like, you don't like yourself very much. Yeah.
And sometimes that's enough for me, but sometimes it just fucking hurts, dude. I'm like, how could you treat another human like this?
It doesn't.
And
make
you have a
sense.
daughter in your profile.
I know. I'm just speaking, like, not from experience of just when I see other people doing it. I don't know how that would feel. Like, I know you guys have it. You ladies have
it can be
directed at you.
feel really gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like the profile, you see a child in the picture, or it's like God first is on the post.
It's
Like,
always God.
Oh, God.
like, huh? What God, dude?
Your God's mean, man.
Yeah, people just are just say whatever the heck they want.
It's rough. But sometimes, like, responding, and sometimes I'll go bleep, blorp, blop, and they'll be like, that's not even words. And I'm like, bleepy, bloopy, bloop. And the algorithm is just like, more.
Yes. And then you just pop up in their algorithm more, and they're like, why do you keep showing up? That's the older people on Facebook. They don't understand that when they comment, it's going to show up more. It's like, and I'm just like this.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. What's your favorite part about being a full-time comedian?
Not having to get up early.
Oh, yeah.
Is that wild?
No, that's
That's the thing I picked.
No, I think Amber would pick that.
That's
too.
amazing.
Because I stay up till like 3 or 4 a.m. every night.
Oh, wow.
I'm a night gal.
Doing what?
So it's lunchtime for you right now.
Yeah. It's getting ready to be start of my day here. I'll edit or play Animal Crossing. That's my big thing lately, to sort of zone out. Pretty much anything.
Hell yeah.
I love having my own schedule, but also it's kind of scary. Time managing. That's scary. But I would rather do that than have to go to work at 8 a.m. every Monday through
Which
Friday.
you've done.
Which I did.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah. I don't think I can do that again. Like, once you get out of that, it'd be so hard to go back.
It's so demoralizing.
Really?
I feel like it is.
Huh.
It's horrible for everyone. It's horrible
Someone
to have
telling
to
you what
get
you
up.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just ugh. There's not enough vacation. You can't even stay home sick. They'll make you feel guilty about that. It's horrible.
That's so true. Do you miss teaching at all?
No.
Yeah. Good.
I mean, I miss the people I worked with. I miss the kiddos, but
Yeah.
I don't miss having to show up there every day. And towards the end too, I have a condition called lipedema. I'm smiling because I have another joke that starts with that but goes somewhere else. I have lipedema, which is a connective tissue disorder, a fat disorder. It was really getting bad right before I left, and my mobility was going down the shitter. And these kiddos have autism, and they like to run everywhere. And I was like, I'm like, I can't chase these kids anymore. They're just running everywhere. Where are they going?
Where are they going?
Where are you going? Everything you need is here.
Wow.
Just wild. Yeah, it was getting really physically difficult, so I'm glad I dipped out when I did.
Yeah. Question. So you've said the word scary a lot, but like in that
My brain's like, they see you. They see the real you. They see you. And I'm like, okay.
leave. But thinking about you teaching kids with autism, it sounds like there's no room for, like, there's a lot of room for fear, but that to do that day in and day out, that I don't see you being like, this is scary. Like, does that make sense? Like, I feel like you'd have to put fear to the side to be in charge in that kind of environment.
Yeah, it wasn't, I didn't feel scared when I did it. And I actually felt, I was really good at it. And I think because I could and I didn't know this till I started working with kiddos with autism. I have a lot of sensory issues. Add that to the list. And I could sort of like have more empathy for them because I kind of got it in that other people would be like, why are they screaming? I'm like, well, first of all, those lights are buzzing, the heater's buzzing, you're tapping, like all that stuff I could hear, and it was making me crazy. So then I was like, all behavior is communication, first of all. So I believe that they made me more empathetic, the kiddos did.
Toward yourself?
Towards myself and towards other people, because you truly, it's cliche, but you truly don't know what someone's going through. And for those kiddos, they didn't have a way to tell us, like, man, this room is cold, it sucks, it's loud, and you want me to do math problems? I don't think so, bitch.
The world is falling apart.
And I'm like, yeah, bro, I get it. I get it. And I think I was fun too. Like I loved playing and making things more fun than just math. And singing. I was constantly singing. I'm always singing.
You are?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Are you a good singer?
You asked her to say something nice about herself.
I know. And she's like,
I have a good singing voice.
so yeah. Girl, get the fuck out of here.
Just say, yes, I'm the bomb. I'm so good.
I mean, I'm not Mariah Carey, but I can carry a tune.
Oh my goodness. Do you ever sing on stage?
Yes, I have before. I have a song that's about my cat, and I would sing it. And I was doing it on tour, but I was ending with it, and it was too much for some of these theaters to switch from audio to Chelsea's video that introduces her. So I was like, I can't mess up Chelsea's shit. It's kind of along the lines of Kevin James Thornton, who you've had on here.
Yes.
Where it's I initially made it with the auto-tune app, kind of probably the same one he uses. I think we both kind of started doing that during the pandemic. But it's about my cat, and but yeah, I'd love to do more of that. Because singing about my cat and trying to truly sing it well, to me is funny. I don't know why. It's just like really very earnest singing about a cat running outside. To me, that's ridiculous. I love ridiculous shit.
Cat people have a lot of emotion about their cat. I'm a cat person too.
What's your cat's name?
I have 2 cats. One of them, they're Max and Deli. Maximus Kittius and Delicatessen for long.
And do you call them any of those names?
Do I call? Oh no, it's like Boots, Pebble Pete, Pobble, King Baby.
King Baby.
You know those ads in Nashville with all the rings and jewelry?
No, I've only been here a year, so I don't really pay attention to a lot of stuff. I do, and I want to write a bit about this, but there are so many places in Nashville that start with Mr.
Have you? No.
Do you know that?
I'm sad that you said that because now I'm going to see it.
I have counted 26 things.
Stop.
And I don't have a list joke, but I've always wanted to do a list joke.
That's
just I want to name. And it's like so many Mr. places.
Could you name some right now?
There's Mr. Clean, Mr. Satellite, Mr. I have them all in my phone.
Mr. Whiskers.
Mr. Whiskers, and that's a gas station thing, right?
I think it's a liquor store.
Weird.
It's wild, dude. And
That's fucking hilarious.
I don't know if anybody else talks about. Has anybody?
I
ever
haven't never heard that.
Okay,
and that's
good.
a good list joke. Do it. I love that.
It doesn't make sense. And then there's like no Mrs. anythings. It's all.
You should go
Mr.
into those businesses and be like, you got this all on your own? No wife? That's so weird. Huh.
Hell yeah! You got to push the sound effect, the drum roll sound effect.
Oh yeah, I don't know how to work this.
Oh, you can't even reach your sound effects.
Kaylee.
You need a stick.
Little finger. Thank you so much for coming here.
Are we already done?
I know.
Yes.
We don't have to be. We can keep. I mean, I know you're going to be up all night.
I saw some of the other episodes. They were like an hour 15. Oh, like, is my trauma too much for you guys? Is it too heavy and burdensome?
No.
I mean, that's just been my whole life. It's just been a burden on everyone.
Yes. No.
No, we can stop.
No. Oh, no. You ain't going nowhere.
But thank you for having me, though, for real. What a lovely experience. And I know that sounds sarcastic, but that was real.
I do want to ask one thing, and we can cut it out. Because I wasn't going to ask because I didn't want to like get in there if you didn't want to. But in the beginning, when you were like, "Oh, if you want to talk to someone who has trauma," what were you thinking when you said that?
Just sexual abuse trauma, and I just have. I don't know what it is about me, but I hold on to so much stuff. Like normally people seem to get over stuff a lot quicker than I do.
That's perception.
She's like,
I was about to say, do they?
I mean, some do, but I would question, are they actually getting over it, or they just have really good coping skills to mask it or ignore it or shove it down? But no, not, yeah. I can't tell you how many times I process a comment that was made by someone when they were younger. One sentence has just haunted someone for their whole life.
Oh, God.
And the lack of. I think it's harder. I don't know where I came across this information, but they say it's harder. Like if you had a parent who was saying, "You're a piece of crap," versus a parent who just never said anything, it's harder to move through and heal from the parent that never said anything. Because you didn't get anything positive from them, and then what do our minds do? It fills in the gaps.
Negative, yeah.
And so, but it's like a perceived like thing that gets perpetuated, and that's harder because there's no concrete thing to go back to. But it's there, and it gets created, but it's from the lack of.
That's terrible.
And so, sometimes we don't even know what we're trying to let go of, right?
Has there ever in the history of the entire world been someone who does not have trauma from their childhood?
Right.
What the heck?
I know.
Why is the system flawed? We need to fix it, dude.
Yeah, is that? I don't know if that's possible because humans just be humaning.
I mean, as a trauma therapist, I don't know that I've ever met anybody without it, but I would say, I never say never. I'm sure it's possible. But even people that their perception is that they didn't have, it's like these really, we think of like the bigger things, trauma growing up. There's people that haven't had those kinds of trauma happening. But it's like, what do you consider trauma?
Yeah.
You know, if it's some people may not say, well, my parents never, praised me, but that's not a trauma. But that's developmental trauma. And like, how is that affecting you now? Like, is it affecting you now?
Right.
But I've had people remember being sexually abused as an adult, and it wasn't really affecting them. Like some people say they think they remember a trauma that, and then they think, well, I have to like go do all this work now around it. Like, don't I have to do trauma work if I remember a trauma? And I'm like, how's it affecting you now? Well, it's not. Okay, maybe we don't need to. Or let's explore that. But so it's so subjective, but it's very rare.
Why do you feel like you hang on to it more than others? What makes you feel that way?
I don't know. It's probably I've heard things like, "Oh, you should not be sad about this anymore." Or
Fuck that.
Because I remember when I left my husband, and it had only been literally a week, and my mom's like, "Oh, you're still upset? You're still upset about that?" And I was like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I didn't even realize that till just then.
Didn't realize what?
That could have been my mom in my head telling me that I should be getting over things faster. And also, I think I'm just perceiving other people, like you said, maybe they're masking or coping better.
Yeah. Comparison game. It's hard on you.
Sucks, dude.
Yeah. But I would, when you're not just dealing from your husband leaving or, like separating, that's a loss. But whatever is coming up there is compounded on all the things in the past that even feels remotely similar to that you haven't dealt with. It all just stacks on top of each other. So you might saying, why can't I get over this one thing? But it's a whole pile of things, really, that's like feeding that and making that feel so big.
I feel like I should be paying you after this. Do you ever feel like that?
Yeah. 1,000%.
You want my insurance card?
It's hard too because Melanie you're my friend, so sometimes I'm like careful of being like, how do I present things in my life to you without being like, help me.
It's like her saying like, hey, do some skits.
Cheer me up.
Do some skits, would you?
So I do all the time. Call Amber, make me laugh, bitch.
She does try to improv with me a lot. I'm like, Melanie, you don't know how offensive that is. She's like, okay, let's role play. You're this. I'm like,
oh, Darcy. What's her name? Darcy?
Darcy.
She's a therapy dog.
She's a beautiful babe.
Isn't she an angel?
Love you. She's like, leave me alone, lady.
No, she's a baby. My, God bless my mom. I love my mom, but I realized she did. I don't know if it was the same thing, but my mom would be like, all right, we're going to cry for a lit, and then we're going to stop. We're going to be done crying. So I get that same thing where I'm like, okay, I'm done. But inside in my body is like, we're not done. I'm still sad. I'm still pissed off. Especially with sexual abuse too. I get like very pissed off at like catcalling and men who make me feel gross, and that like old anger comes up to where a lot of people are like, you're overreacting. I'm like, no, they're overreacting. Like I still don't feel like justice was served. And then I'm being blamed for what happened. And I'm like, I'm not over. Does no one see that they should be the ones being punished? Like, oh, so I totally like, I'm not going to say that put those feelings on you, but like I do have a lot of emotions around sexual abuse and people making it seem like feelings should be done. So I feel you on that. Oh, Darcy.
She's great.
With the side eye.
I know.
She is like the master of side eye. I have so many pictures that
she loves you. Look at her.
Are you kidding me?
Oh.
I saw you.
Look, she's like, but look deeper.
She's like, start therapy now. I implore you. Stop the therapy. Oh. She's like, right, Mom?
She's like, no, get up. We're going.
I have to do it today? We've done enough.
Oh, I love her.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for being so vulnerable.
There.
Yeah. Thank you for being open and hearing stuff.
I'm still wanting to do bits so bad. I was going to say, what if I just made all that up, guys? But I was like, just be normal for a second.
It's a blessing to get to know you a little bit more. I just appreciate your energy and who you are, both when, like we've met in person and online. And I'm just so grateful that we've had this time together to like be a little closer.
And it's sad that we live in the same city, but we've seen each other twice now.
I know.
It's just hard.
It is.
It's hard as adults to meet up. I
Even
mean,
harder when you're closer, I feel like.
This has been in the works for how long? Months?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's needed. It happened at the right time. Love like when you needed it to happen. Would you say, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Libbie.
Yeah.
Two things. One,
you guys are
what
going to
else
try
you
to
got?
sell
No,
me a
just-
pyramid scheme thing. Like, by the way.
Yeah.
one quick little thing. Jesus.
The Lord.
What's one thing that like is your thing that like makes you feel like, oh, this is my shit. Just makes you relaxed or happy. And then the second thing, tell everybody where they can find you.
Music. Any kind of music makes me feel relaxed and happy. I just feel so much with music. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm so cool because I can feel it. But like music, I feel it inside of my body. And it feels good.
Yeah.
Singing it or just listening to it?
Listening, singing, all of it.
Dancing.
Not so much dancing. I'll get a little
Hey.
every once in a while. Yeah, get it.
Let's go.
But that's about it.
What's your like go-to, like one of your favorites that you put on? Artist.
Right now, it's Taylor Swift.
Really?
And she snuck up on me. She got my ass. I didn't know. I didn't even know that it, like, I didn't know that the love for Taylor Swift was gonna happen, but it happened.
What does it make you feel?
It makes me feel happy and I can't explain it. I'm a Swiftie.
Oh,
I love that.
I'm a old ass Swiftie.
Let's go. Have you seen her in concert?
No, I'm not going. I'm too old for concerts. I don't. I'm not. No. No.
Yeah. I
Too
feel
hot,
that.
too sweaty, too much of a walk, too many people. No. Also, I love Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny is one of my favorites right now.
what?
What?
What is
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
What is that?
It's like Latin pop.
That is my shit.
Can you give her a little taste? Like what's
Bad
one
Bunny,
of those?
Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny.
Is that a song?
That's the song.
That's just like his kind of tag. Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny.
So that's an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's from Puerto Rico, I think. And he is I like his music, but he also kind of is changing up, and I know we're trying to stop, but
No.
he changes up that whole I don't know what the word is. Machismo?
Oh.
In that culture where it's like, hey, a dude can wear a skirt and it's cool.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't make him feminine or
Yeah.
gay or whatever they say, but yeah, I like him. And his music's good.
Oh.
I just saw Japanese beetle up there, and I have so many of those in my house right now.
Where'd it go? Oh, it's up there.
That's not a ladybug. Is that a bad thing?
They're not ladybugs, but it's cool. They be doing their stuff right now. They're just everywhere.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I'm glad it's tiny because you said Japanese beetle. I expected something.
I thought that was another
scarier.
artist you listened to.
I love the Japanese. They are my favorite band.
I just, what? She
like,
said
you
I did
like
see
all
Japanese beetle.
the genres.
I'll go to their concert.
The way my eyes just went up there and saw it is wild.
That's good luck.
You were trying to remember something, so you
And
were
I was like-
accessing.
I was
your brain.
accessing in memories. And then what was the other one to find me?
Yes.
Libbie Higgins everywhere online.
Can you spell that?
Libbie. Higgins. Higgins.
Thank you so
Libby.
much, Libby.
Thank y'all.
Mhm. I've enjoyed this.
Our pleasure.
Mhm.
Thank you for listening to I'm Fine, It's Fine podcast. My name is Amber Autry. I'm a comedian based here in Nashville and internationally touring. You can find me on all platforms at Amber Autry Comedy.
And I am Melanie Reese. I'm a trauma therapist here in Nashville. You can find me across all platforms at Trauma Therapy Nashville.
We really appreciate you listening so much. And if you want to give a little extra for free, make sure you're liking, subscribing, rating, reviewing, sharing with your friends, talking about it to literally everyone you see, because it helps so much. And we're so grateful for the extra effort.
And if you like what you're hearing and you want some bonus material, that includes interviews with other practitioners and all the juicy stuff that Amber and I talk about that doesn't go into the normal podcast. We'd love to have you subscribe. You can find the link in our bio, and $5 a month, you can do it.
Thank you.
Thanks.